Well, let me start this episode with the same words that are in the title. We couldn't, could we? We've got 2 games to go in the Premier League season. Our top 4 places wrapped up, and we could yet finish in 4th place. But remarkably, with 2 games to go, we could yet still win the title. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 117 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. We are back today for our final 2 games of the league season. We are in 3rd place. We have wrapped up the top 4. We have exceeded our expectations this season. But remarkably, we're coming up against the 2 best sides in Europe with a chance to win the title with 2 games to go. Let me know down in the comments if you think we can do it. Of course, it would be a ridiculous achievement, but I'm not sure it's going to happen, quite frankly. We've got the 2 best sides in England, the Champions League finalists, Liverpool and Manchester City, and the first of them we're facing today. But with that out of the way, let's go and reflect on the recent fixtures which have helped us meet our objective, make the top 4 officially, and get a lot of players who were struggling with their happiness at the club to be back on board with us 100%. Let's go and have a look at the schedule because it has been, again, a pretty good run. Annoyingly, we did drop 2 silly points, which may well cost us the league here. And I didn't think I'd be saying that when we came back last episode. But Charlton away was the first game immediately after it. And it was just a really poor performance. We dominated the first half without creating a huge amount. Then we let in 2 silly goals at the start of the second half. The first one was a poor error at the back. The second one, yes, the player wasn't closed down, but it was a remarkable finish in truth. Demeter and Taylor got us a point as we went all-out attack after that. We then backed it up, though, with 2 more big wins. A 3-2-1 away at Southampton. Guido and Henry Ocon's brace with the goals. Ocon actually played up front in this one. Did a remarkable job up there. It looked an absolute gem. We also played him up there against Chelsea the week after, and he scored 2 more, so that might be a plan for next season. Devillet got the other one, opening from a set piece there, and a 3-0 victory was just a brilliant result. And it keeps us in the mix with 2 games to go. If we beat City, finishing above them is in our hands. But let's be fair, we've not won away against top half teams, which Bournemouth are. And we've also got to rely on Liverpool to drop 4 points, which they're probably not going to do. If we look at the goal differences, just in case it comes into the equation, it's actually worked out for us a bit. If we beat City, we will have a better points tally, so won't have to worry about it. And Liverpool's goal difference, we're fairly close. So if they lose a couple, we win a couple. It probably will neutralise a little bit. Let's go and have a look at the dynamics, though, which are the best they've been since we've been here. Having secured that top 4 finish, we've now got no players unhappy, none wanting to leave the continental football. We are back at the Premier European competition next year, and quite frankly, so we should be. Maybe this is just in save, a bit like Chelsea in real life. Poor season, and then they're going to back it up with a good one. I never did really look to see what they did the year before. Was it a big squad overhaul? Oh no, so basically they sat still for a year and got caught out. They wasted all their budget on João Diaz, who's awful and now out on loan. Oscar Benegas, the youngster, came in, and he sold 130 million quid's worth of talent. So perhaps last year they just took their eye off the ball and they got caught out, finished 14th, and it's made us look a genius without doing a huge amount. But I do want to show you one thing on this topic that is a little bit more negative and that I'm a little more worried about, because we got back into the top 4. We talked about, can we just add those 2 or 3 world-class players next summer? Because at the moment, where we've had a lower budget, it's not really John Murtaugh's fault, but he's having to get average players in the position we need. And he's strengthening the squad, but not the team. Well, do you know what budget we got for next season? Well, let me go and show you over here. 7.37 million is the budget we were allocated. The wage budget about 200 grand spare. Thankfully, due to other things happening since, so there was someone who won a league or a cup somewhere, and we got about 2 million quid for that. There was a player who got sold on in the MLS, which was about 500k. And there were a few other little bits as well. So it's actually up to 20 million now. But we're looking at what we need in midfield and defence, those star players to come in. We're not going to get anyone world class unless a big player goes out the door. And you look at the people that are wanted, it's only really the first teamers, the superstars, and perhaps then 1 or 2 of the homegrown players who I don't want to lose. So you're looking at Taylor and Humphreys. I don't want them to go because they're homegrown for the Champions League squad. And maybe the only way we can do it is to sell one of the star centre halves and get a replacement. But Of course, that's going to be up to John Murtaugh, not us, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's go and get straight into our final two games. City at home is a big one. If we're not in a league race, we'll just fly through to the end of the season then. But a sold-out Old Trafford is expectant, and even just finishing above City, well, that would be a feather to the cap as well, wouldn't it? I think with the 11, we're going to stick with what played against Chelsea. It did really well. We've still got Ocon through the middle up front, Demeter out on the right. That's because De Bruyne's had a knock, and Carlos, he's been doing all right in the Mazzala role. So I'm going to leave it at that. Joel North just drops off a little bit. Ocon's brilliant up front. Let's go and get into it. The Manchester derby, they've brought Kelleher into the team, our former Palace and England player. Stansfield on the other side. In fact, 3 of that back 4 was the England Euros back 4. We know about Preta, we know about Laverne. Scaroni's a great player. I mean, they're brilliant. But they've got a Champions League final round the corner, as have Liverpool. And maybe that's where things are coming off a little bit. Will be interesting to see Jurgen Klopp go into a Champions League final against Liverpool. Not sure that will happen in real life, but we'll wait and see. Let's go and get through to the first half. It is United versus City. It is a Premier League title decider, perhaps. We just need Liverpool to drop points, but we're going from the kickoff, which is a concern. Scaroni out to left back for Kelleher. He brings the ball down the line, has support from 2. We are trying to be front-footed. Don't forget, we have not lost a home game against at Old Trafford, and I don't intend on losing that against the rivals Man City, as Jurovic at the back wins it for Kelleher. I'm always worried when you get a long highlight at the start. You know it's going to be something, but who for? Baysau and Duffy nick the ball, but it's straight back to Jurovic. We've seen the whole first minute so far. Stansfield back to Cini, Gets the ball into midfield. Stumbling my words all over the place. I'm obviously subconsciously nervous for this afternoon, as Laverne picks the ball up for Kelleher. Down the line to Scaroni. Beats the challenge. This'll be it. Title race over, is it? No. Preta over the bar. The whole minute, but the chance is missed, and I don't mind that. But City are on the front foot again. Scaroni gets it to Parsons and Jurovic. 2.5 minutes in. We're being played off the park here. Here comes Kelleher. Beats his man with ease. Cuts it inside. I mean, it looks like they've got about 15 on the pitch at the minute. We can't get close enough. We need to get on the ball. We force it back to the keeper. That's good enough. Will he do something stupid? He does. He gives it to Guido. Why did he turn back? He could have just lobbed him, but he turned back instead. It was one back for Demeter, though. Ocon dropping in to help out. And it's headed away as far as Hodgkinson. A Baysau. 20 yards out. Turns and shoots. Just over the bar. A chaotic start to the Manchester derby. And I've just noticed, look, the referee's Michael Oliver. The same one who's doing the Luton game in the playoff final. Of course, you'll all know the outcome by the time this comes out. But I am absolutely petrified. There's a quarter of the game gone here. It's been cagey. There's been no shots on target. We're not playing with our normal gusto that we do at home, but Liverpool are behind and we're staying in the game. And if we win this, we could be on for the unthinkable here. I just want to get into that position. If we can take it to the final day, it would be some outstanding achievement. As Humphreys finds Demeter, chips it over the top to Ocon. He's got him behind. He's got to score. Henry Ocon, he does score. Manchester United as it stands, with Ocon's little jig, are 1 point off the top of the Premier League table. Let's change that to the league stats next time we can. The league table, As Duffy on the left finds Clishin. Hodgkinson nearly gives it away. The home record continues. We are flying. And Duffy gets the ball into Clishin. Both sides look petrified of losing, but we're just keeping the ball now. If we can find a second goal, I might even start the party. West Ham doing us a favour, and we're doing ourselves one now. As Demeter in for Guido, he's run off the defence. It's a brilliant run. But with half-time on the horizon, Liverpool are 1 down, and we are 1 point off them at the top of the league. They have Spurs on the final day as we get the lads motivated and ready for the second half. They've got Spurs, Pep Guardiola's side, finding form now, still chasing Europe themselves. And of course, we're title winners a couple of years ago. And we've got Bournemouth away, so it could be a battle of those matches. In fact, it looks like Bournemouth and Spurs will both miss out on 7th, but 8th could be Europe, so might end up being crucial yet. So at this point, I'm going to make some of the usual subs. We'll bring Ocon back for Guido. Guido will be replaced by Joel North up front, bit more of a target man type. Joseph Taylor will come on for Baysau, who's had a poor game. I don't feel I can risk Demeter or Hodgkinson at this point. I think if I'm being honest for now, I'll probably leave it at that, but I'm almost frustrated now because I'm thinking those 2 points we dropped at Charlton are going to be so important. And it was so avoidable if I'm being honest with you. I think we're going to start the time wasting subs now. So Humphreys, oh, I can't do it. I can't take these people off because the replacements aren't better. In midfield, we're going to go for George Jimenez. He replaces Carlos, but the rest of it I'm going to leave to the 90th. We are going to time waste our backsides off. Liverpool have gone down to 10 men. They're 3-1 down as well, and that makes a difference on the goal difference. Letting in that extra goal at the end is crucial because it could come down to that if they lose and we draw. But I don't think that's going to be enough at the minute. Let's go to the instructions. Time waste all the time. We're going to slow the pace down. You know the drill by now. There are 2 minutes of stoppage time. The fullbacks will drop to defend. We're also going to, I think, drop in Ocon. Oh, what do I do? I'm really stuck for options here. Duffy at left back's knackered, but I'm not doing that. Demeter will come off for Hunter. He'll go right of midfield. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go Ocon left of midfield. Taylor as number 10. And then maybe, have we got another option we can bring on? I don't think we have. We're just going to have to sit like that, I think. We're going to go to 2 traditional wingers on support. Jimenez will drop in as a supporting playmaker. And we're going to drop to a balanced mentality. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Let's get that sub out the way. And we've got one more, so we might as well make it. Or have we? No, we must have made all 5 now. Oh, we've had the 3 sub breaks, that's why. 3 minutes of stoppage time up. We've won against Manchester City by a goal to 0. Unbeaten at home in our first season with Manchester United. But we have lost away from home to all of the top 7. We've drawn against Spurs on the road. And now we face Bournemouth. We need Spurs to do us a favour against Liverpool. And this could yet be our greatest ever FM achievement. Or certainly one of them. Because we were nowhere at the halfway point. Let's go and see how it looks into the final game of the season. This might yet be very special. 1 point off Liverpool, 4 goal difference separating us. But that won't matter if we win and they lose or draw. Let's hope Spurs help us by doing their job against Liverpool. And then it's down to us. Can we beat Bournemouth and beat one of those big away sides? Well, we return for the final day of the Premier League season, and I feel that we've just been brought back by fate to show you this screen because I get a lot of stick sometimes for the way that squads are put together or in the head coach that I'm a little bit negative about our directors of football at time. But have a look at this season. We have made the biggest net transfer profit of any club in the division. We are one of only 4 clubs to make a profit. Liverpool are third, but it's 20 million less. And we're still in masses of debt going into next season, which should fix itself next season, to be fair, when the Champions League comes back around. But this could be a monumental achievement in the circumstances. A few of you were talking about my job back in November, don't forget. But we had that horrible run of away games, and we said, look, we haven't got any of them now. We're going to go on a run. And we have. But now we finished the league season with one of those horrible away games. The board and the fans expect to draw. Unless Liverpool lose by 5, that won't be enough. So let's have a look at the English Premier Division. What about the goals scored? I've got to know that as well. Right, we're well ahead of Liverpool on that front. So if Liverpool lose by 4 and we draw, we're going to win the title. Might be slightly wishful thinking that, I feel. Spurs are in 8th place. They are going to Anfield today. We are going to Bournemouth. Liverpool having home advantage, I think, will probably make a big difference though. So let's go and get through to the fixtures. Can we wrap up the first title since 2013, the Sir Alex Ferguson era? Well, I'll tell you what, we'd be one hell of a legend if we could. It's been 24 years. It's an unlikely event. We did not expect to be here, but we have just gone up and up and up in this second half of the year. And annoyingly, if we'd got that win at Charlton, it would have been in our hands. For now, though, we're going to close down Hugo Esnol, one of our former stars. Neto, who was at Palace when we arrived, then got sold for big money. I think I managed him for 2 games maybe, if that. The rest of the team I'm not that familiar with, but it's very good. They're not playing Plitko, who's their star striker, but he had been out injured for a long time. Let's go and have a look at the team selection. I didn't mention that other Norwegian wonder kid they've got, did I? I think you know what I'm going to do for this game, don't you? I'm going to put the experience of Vanderson on the bench for Hunter. And I'm looking at De Bruyne, maybe, but he's not fit enough. So I don't think I want to take the silly risk. We're going to go for the same 11, just Vanderson in for Hunter on the bench. What a finish it could be for him, by the way. He has been here since 2023, and he could finish with a league title at 35. Let's go and get into it, though. You know the 11 in full now. We have got one hell of an opportunity to become miracle workers and legends for this football club. Did not expect this in the first season. Didn't expect it 2 or 3 months ago. But we have got the opportunity. So let's see if we can get back in style. It's only going to get harder next season when we've got no budget, but we've also got Champions League football extra work to compete with. This is our chance to take advantage. And now we are one game away from potentially winning the Premier League title. It's going to be a tricky game for us. We have not won at any of the sides above Bournemouth in the league this season. And actually, we lost at Palace as well. So if we don't win this game, we will have gone the whole season without winning a game at a top half team away from home. And we've only picked up 1 point in the other 8 matches. This is our chance to make it better. But what a time it would be to end the run, as Gusto gets the ball forward to the right to Castellano. Scherdalup gets it wide again. Castellano beats his man, shots over the bar, but already the Bournemouth threat is evident. They're a very good team. I know they're not quite as good as the last few years where they've lost a shomp now to Arsenal, but they have been top 7 every single season for the last 4 or 5. As Ocon nicks it off the defender. Poor mistake to Demeter. Oh, shots over the bar. Had the legs and the power to take him on there, I thought. But went for the shot. Oh, it's over. The dream's over, everyone. Liverpool have scored 2 early goals against Spurs. Classic Spurs dropping points there as Ocon gives it away. Well, at least the pressure's off now. We don't have to worry about this result. The worst thing for me would have been, as Dominguez is in, it's going to be 1-0. Bournemouth take the lead right on cue as well. The worst thing for me would have been if this happened and then Liverpool lost as well. And we knew we could have won it. As it is, if Liverpool win their game, it takes a lot of the pressure off. As Guido puts a corner in. Again, only 2 people in the box and ignoring the short corner. As Hodgkinson back to Carlos. Humphreys nicks in. We have looked a little bit edgy here, but if the Liverpool score comes through, they should be able to relax a bit. As Humphreys gives it to Deverley and Hodgkinson. Great ball for Demeter. Chance to cross. Baysal's there. Deflects into the keeper's arms. He started and finished the season really poorly, Baysal. Had a brilliant run in the middle, but just seems to be inconsistent. Liverpool are 2 up. It's game over. And I think we have to resign ourselves to, well, a 2nd or 3rd place finish. Possibly 3rd now because Bournemouth are 2 up. And this is the thing for next season, isn't it? We have been ruthless against the bottom half. We've been brilliant at home. If we can find a way to get results against the top 10 teams away from home, we are going to have one hell of a run next year. As it stands, we will have lost 8 games this season, and it will be away against, well, as it stands at the moment, 8 of the other 9 teams in the top 10, only Spurs getting a point. You take out that, even a couple of wins in them, and we're going to be comfortable champions next year. But we've got midweek football, we've got the Champions League, we've not got a transfer budget to improve, and John Murtow, with the greatest respect to him, has not done brilliant things with the money he's had so far, as Guido gets one back with half an hour to go. Do you know what? I'm going to take some of the tired legs off now. I'm going to, and I'm not often a sentimental man, I'm going to bring Vanderson on for Humphreys. He deserves his final kick for this club. He has made 406 league appearances. His season's been ruined by injuries. Don't forget, he started the first 2 games at right back. We're going to replace Baysal on the left with Joe Taylor. We're going to bring young David Walker on for Hodgkinson, who's had a stinker. Deverley's had a shocking game as well, so he'll be replaced by Hervenhoff. We'll save the last sub for 5 more minutes. But 2-1, Guido has given us a lifeline here. And we've got an opportunity. But with the Liverpool result is not to win the league. Don't forget though, we get a win, we will finish 2nd, which is still an achievement too. And a bit of extra money into the club. But for now, it looks like it's going to be 3rd. It looks like it's going to be defeat. We've got Ocon playing poorly and knackered up front. So Joel North, he deserves a run out. He's had a brilliant season for the club. He's done really well. He's exceeded expectations. And he's been a good signing in fairness. Plitko has come on for Bournemouth, a world-class striker. See if I can show you him quickly, because he is a very different level to what we're used to. The City have gone 3 up. Liverpool have gone 3 up. And unfortunately, it is a season that ends in defeat, ends in disappointment. In truth, we shouldn't have even had this expectation coming into the final day. But it is a problem, isn't it? We have not beaten any of the top 10 on the road, and ultimately, with incredible consistency elsewhere, that is what has cost us this league title. Because Charlton, I think, are the only other 2 points we've dropped. So with that in mind, we would have won the league if we picked up one other result. What a frustrating day. Let's go and have a look at the end of season review and then see what we're going to do for next summer. Well, £35 million comes into the club. That will address some of the financial issue here. And hopefully with Champions League football on the way, next summer there'll be a big budget to work with. But it was so close to being brilliant. We finish in third, we get back in the top four. Don't forget at the start of the season, the media expectation was 8th. The club had finished 14th. It hadn't been in the top 4 for years. It was about getting European football back. And not only have we done that, we've got to 2 domestic cup semi-finals. We've got back into the Champions League, the Premier European competition. And we took the league title race to the final day. An excellent effort. Let's get ahead to the season review and reflect on what's been a really successful year. Well, Pep Guardiola has just been sacked by Spurs despite delivering them their first league title just a year or two ago. So we know things can change quickly in this save, so we should enjoy moments like this. A really good season for Manchester United. And you look at the players that come in, none of them have been first team regulars, but the worry is 4 of them have cost 25 million or more, and they're just not that good. Joel North definitely an exception because he offered us something going forward, but overall, I can't say I'm that enamoured with the work this year. But with 4 competitions next season, they're going to get more game time. The transfers out, nothing huge really, a few goalkeepers. Almazan was the big one early in the summer, but elsewhere, nothing particularly spectacular. Let's have a look at the loans out because that is going to be important next year. Kieran Jones will come back and probably be one of our 4 centre-halves. Likewise, Ribeiro developing as a young midfielder. We do have to face the fact that we're probably going to need to rely on some of these guys next season because we're not getting a big transfer budget. We're playing more games. We're going to need a bigger squad. So it's going to be quantity over quality. And these guys are probably going to make that up. It is a season to remember though. A 3rd place finish. We got Old Trafford full again after the first few games. And from 14th to 3rd, a final day title race. Do you know what? It's not a bad effort, is it? 82 points, comfortably in the top 4. I'm very happy with that. The moments to remember, biggest win was a 6-1 at home to Watford. The 3-0 win at home to Liverpool, which was the match to remember. And a 4th against Leeds was goal of the season for Emir Baysal. And a big shirt seller as well. There's no surprises there. Joe Taylor won Young English Player of the Year as well. I should mention that. The best 11... I can't have any arguments. Maybe Duffy ahead of Humphreys if everyone was fit. But Duffy's been playing left back, so I get why it's been considered that way. The Buen's in, it could have maybe been Demeter on the right, North up front. But overall, a very good team. We've got 14 or 15 good players. We just need to have a bit more depth. And that is going to be the test for John Murtaugh with just 20 million to spend. Emir Baysal breaks the assist record, so maybe I should be a bit gentler on him really. But the games he doesn't contribute in, he just goes completely missing. I do find it a little weird that the Buen's won the club player of the season, or the young player of the season, sorry, when Taylor's won it for the whole league and was definitely better. I do find that a bit surprising. Guido the best average rating, that number 10 working at home. And it's been a great year. History in the making. Back into the top 4 with Manchester United. Back into Europe. The dark days of Ollie are behind them yet again. And we are taking this club back to the top. Let's see what the expectations are for next year. Reach the latter stages of the Champions League and qualify for Europe via the league again. We're making progress. Look at where Manchester United have fallen. That one sums it up. Sign players to sell for a profit. Manchester United have become a selling club, a feeder club. That is really ridiculous. And now we've got to sell players before buying. So John Murtaugh, he's probably going to shock us with a couple of stinking deals and big players leaving the club this summer, isn't he? But with next to no budget and a requirement for John Murtaugh to sell before he can buy, it could yet be a very difficult summer for us. If you're looking forward to finding out and you did enjoy that thrilling climax to the season, then please do put a thumbs up on it. If you want to stay up to date with next year and see what pain John puts us through this summer, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back tomorrow with our Build a Nation save from Distillery before this one returns in 2 days' time. But thank you very much for watching. Your support as always is appreciated. And I'll see you back here next time for a big summer transfer window with Manchester United.